Let's model some basic leaves. I'm gonna start with this little thing over here, just to show you the general idea. So what you want to do is you want to trace the outline of the leaf with the line tool. Okay, and you just want to trace it roughly like this, since the overall shape will be smoothed by the Turbo Smooth modifier. And when tracing, try to keep the point count or the vertex count similar on both sides of the object, so you can easily connect them afterwards. Okay, so let's say we have something like this, and now we want to make it into a 3D shape. And to do that, first we have to check if all the vertices are set to corner type and collapse to editable poly. And what we get is a flat piece of geometry with no edges in it. Only the outside edges are there. The rest we need to cut in ourselves. And basically what I'm looking for is a nice grid, which can be achieved by using the cut tool, starting with the main lines of the object. Okay, and you can also use the connect tool to connect the rest of the vertices. And it's gonna be faster if you just use the keyboard shortcut, and you can set it up to whatever you want. And as you can see, you can quickly go over it and cut in all these needed edges. And my goal is to achieve a nice grid with all four-sided polys. And if it's gonna take too much time, I'm not worried about making some triangles or some pentagons as well. So for example, here I'm gonna end with a triangle and cut on the other side of the edge. And it's probably gonna be fine. Right, so I'm using some vertices close to each other over here, and just to make a sharp corner there. And I also want to add some edge loops in the middle of the leaf so I can give it a 3D shape by bringing those vertices outwards. And same here. And that's pretty much going to be all the detail we need for this particular object. Okay, make sure no vertices are connected only by two edges. They have to have at least 3 edges coming out of them, except for these outer corners, which can have 2. All the inner vertices should have at least 3 edges coming out from them. Okay, make sure the shape is nice and smooth. Let's add the Turbo Smooth modifier. To check the shape. And you can fine-tune the vertex positions by turning on the preview and moving them until you get a perfect rounded shape. So I think that's nice. Maybe let's taper the bottom a bit more, make it a bit thinner. Okay, and that's nice. And now we have to make the thing 3D. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select some of my edges. Let's make a crease here by moving these edges inwards. Alright, like that. Then I'm gonna move these edges out. Nice. And move these edges out as well. Okay. Just try to make a nice three-dimensional shape for the leaf. Alright, and once you've done that, you can select the outline and Shift plus move it from the top view a couple of times to extrude it like this. And finally scale it down the y-axis, or you can right click on the scale button here and right click on the y-axis little arrow over here, and it's gonna flatten this outline, make it completely planar. And that's a very basic, very simple leaf you have there. Okay, and this is the same technique I'm gonna use for all the more complicated versions or examples. The basic idea is gonna be just the same. And if you don't like these open faces on the bottom, I mean on the back, you can just add a cap holes modifier above the turbo smooth, and it closes it up and closes it up nicely like this. So that's the general idea on how to make some simple leaves, and you can use the same techniques for more complicated examples as well. If you want to make the shape a bit more interesting, you can add an edit poly above the editable poly, just to make sure you don't mess up the original. And maybe I'm going to select the edge loop, make a crease here by chamfering it. Right, and maybe let's adjust it a bit further. Let's say I want to make this part a bit rounded towards the inside. So select the edge ring, and use the flow connect to make a nice smooth connection. And finally select some of these edges and move them inwards. And the shape is a bit more interesting now. Maybe let's fine-tune this part. Alright, so it's a bit different from our reference photo or the reference drawing. I think it looks a bit nicer this way.